most people, because they have such high expenses, because they have such high debt, they won't invest into their 401k. That's why the first step I always tell you guys, pay off all your debt, right? For me, it was student loans, right? I have so much student loans from school, from business school. Pay off all your student loans. So what I did was I really maximized my 401k. Every year, I would put all my money into that 401k plan, right? And it's all being invested in a mutual fund, exchange trade fund. That's usually a medium high growth mutual fund. And that's going to grow around 8 to 9% every year. And you can check your Vanguard account every year, right? Every employer that you work with will give you this 401k plan, right? Given that you're a W-2 employee, given that you're actually working for the company, you're not like a 1099 contractor, right? You're like a real employee with that company, right? 1099 contracting is great too because you're able to get paid a little bit more because there's no benefits with it. But if you're trying to have a plan for retirement, use your employee-sponsored 401k. And then another avenue for you to approach it is also through a Roth IRA. So the Roth IRA is basically a retirement fund where you can put about $6,500 a year into your Roth IRA. That also grows tax deferred. So because you are putting the money in post-tax, right? Once you turn 62, 65, that money is going to be able to be withdrawn tax-free. And for me, whenever I have a Roth IRA, I don't try and pick like the next greatest stock. I don't try and pick like, oh, what's going to be the next Apple? What's going to be the next Google? I keep it really safe, right? Because I subscribe to kind of Warren Buffett's approach to finances, right? Where you need to realize there are so many hedge funds, there are so many large institutional firms that have millions and billions of dollars in play where they're hiring the smartest people from Harvard, from Stanford, from Wharton, from all these amazing great schools, from UCLA, and they're paying them lots of money to really analyze the market, find the best equity, the best share so they can beat the market. For us as like a normal person, your best bet is really just to get a Roth IRA account, put the $6,500, $6,500 if you're in the United States, and then just buy a mutual fund, right? Similar to how the Vanguard 401k is, right? For me, that mutual fund was VTSAX, and that mutual fund basically mimicked the S&P 500, and it will grow 8 to 9 to 10% every year, right? So for every year, like even if you're a student right now, if say you have no debt, you should actually just buy a Roth IRA, invest in a mutual fund, and allow that to appreciate over time. Use this kind of as like a safeguard for yourself, right? I think when you're young, you need to take risks with your career, right? But also save like 10, 20% and then invest that into your retirement because this will be your nest egg, right? So in case anything was ever to go down, like when you get older, like, oh, it'd be nice knowing that, oh, at least I have $2 million in the account because of the appreciation over time for the assets that I bought when I was in my 20s, right? So think of that, right? Because for me, like a lot of my family, right, they came from a different country. They weren't aware of how financial products worked, right? So a lot of that money that they had earned earlier in their career was just spent on cars, food, whatever it may be. And then now that they're getting towards retirement, it's like, we don't have anything. So kind of keep that in mind is that Roth IRA is a great way for you to invest in retirement if you're not working, right? Employee-sponsored 401k plan is one way to invest, right? Do that $20,500. Most employers have 50% match. Invest in that. You get around $30,000 every year. That's going to grow over time, especially with that 8 to 9% appreciation. And then you have a Roth IRA as well, $6,500 every year. You're going to be able to invest in the VTSAX, which is a mutual fund ETF, and then that will grow 8 to 9% every year. And then by the time you're 65, retirement age, you're going to have $4 or $5 million in retirement, right? So this is just kind of a safeguard way, right? This is all for you to just invest over time. So that way, when you reach the end of your career, you do have that nest egg to look forward to if you haven't made hundreds of millions of dollars from your company, from your business, whatever it may be, kind of from that avenue, that perspective, right? So that is the best kind of way to invest in retirement for yourself, right? Employee-sponsored 401k plan and a Roth IRA, right? Also, another thing too is that for all the stock Google gave me, I never sold any of the equity, right? Because I really believed in the company, because I knew that Google was going to be around for such a long time, I never sold any equity that was given to me, right? So the way it works in big tech, like I kind of mentioned before, is that every 3 to 4 months, you're given equity or you're given stock, right? So they'll give you stock